Hi everybody, it's JD here. My name is John Dwyer, but I get JD because, well, that's my initials, JD. And I also get lots of other names, which I won't bring up just at the moment. It is our weekly Lunch with JD program on Facebook Live. And if you've got an egg and lettuce sandwich or perhaps a salad, and hopefully it's a salad and you're eating healthily, then you might like to just hang around for a few minutes whilst I have a bit of a rant about marketing plans. And first of all, my business is theinstituteofwow.com, and so if you're interested in any help with your business, finding new clients, new customers, and you want to get involved in what we call direct response marketing, then you can contact us at theinstituteofwow.com, and if anyone can do me a favour and just type that in, www.theinstituteofwow.com, that would be great, because silly Billy me forgot to put that upstairs with the title of this video. It is that if you do not have a marketing plan, then you are driving at night without headlights. And the reason I thought I'd just touch on this during this presentation is because last Friday I was asked to speak in front of about 100 dentists. There was a national dentist convention here on the Gold Coast and at the Marriott Hotel. And I was invited to speak for an hour and a quarter in front of a whole bunch of these dentists. And I think if you were to ask anyone at a barbecue if they thought that dentists were pretty academic and intelligent people, they'd probably say yes, okay? But guess what? I asked every one of those dentists who believes that having sales or marketing skills is really the most important thing in business, because if you don't make any sales, then of course you've got no business. And 100% of the dentists in the room put their hand up. And they all agreed that, g'day Greg, how are you? They all agreed that having a marketing or sales skills was very important in business. Guess what? Then I said, well, in that case, who has anyone advising them on marketing? And you could hear crickets in the background. There was 1 out of 100 dentists that put their hand up. Tragic. So they all acknowledged that the marketing of what they did was 100 times more important than what they did, but no one had anyone advising them on marketing. Gee, I got a bit animated then, didn't it? No one had anyone. But it is bizarre. It's crazy. And I know it's self-serving for someone who's a marketing advisor to be telling everyone that they need marketing advice. But even, like, if you own a business and you decide not to knock on my door, that's fine. Go and find someone who has some experience in marketing and some track record, by the way, so they're not 21, and get them to help you in terms of the marketing of your business or your products or services. Then I asked the dentists, okay, well, if you've just said to me that marketing and sales skills is really the most important thing in business, and ironically, only 1 out of 100 of you have got anyone advising them on that, who has a marketing plan? And again, you could hear crickets in the background. No one had a marketing plan, as bizarre as that sounds. And this is what we do. This is back to front. I know that you're watching this back to front, but this is a series of marketing plans that we put together for businesses. And you'll see we normally have a pretty front page. I think that one is for a cafe. You're reading it backwards, I know, but it's for a cafe. And it doesn't matter that you are reading it backwards. As I flip through there, you'll see that the marketing plans that we put together for people are pretty comprehensive. So we would put together, in this instance, it was a cafe, so therefore we're putting together ways for them to collect data and make more money. We're putting together for them ways to actually, I can't do two things at once, all right? I just moved forward there so you could actually see my ear, because that's important. So as we go through these, that's a home builder marketing plan, and so therefore we show the home builder exactly how to actually do brochures and how to put those out, and we show them how to get leads through fixing their web page. So you'll see there it's a new website designed for him, and so on and so forth. As we go through this, you'll see as I'm flicking through the pages, these are pretty comprehensive marketing plans. We cater for both online and offline marketing when we put one of these marketing plans together for people. And if you're a business owner and you don't have anything like this, then you think, wow, look at this. That is really what we need. We need something as comprehensive as that. Then let me think, I know where you should go. Theinstituteofwow.com, he says blatantly as a pitch. But if you don't have a marketing plan, you don't have all these sorts of things planned, then I don't know what's happening. I would imagine that it's akin to driving in the dark without headlights, and that is really, really dangerous. And driving in the dark without headlights for your business, he says metaphorically, is awfully dangerous. You need a marketing plan. And let me tell you what that marketing plan should be these days, regardless of what your business is. It probably should be 75% online. Okay, I was talking to a bunch of dentists over the last couple of days because we got smashed on Friday when I did my hour and a quarter on stage in front of these dentists. I say there was 100 in the room, there was probably 80 something in the room. They said to me there'd be 100 delegates, but as it turned out, a few were, I don't know, they didn't come or what have you, so we had 80 odd in the room. And we invited them to fill in a, let me see, where was it? I've got one here, actually. I saw one this morning. We invited them to fill in a form if they were interested to talk to us about putting a marketing plan together for them. And 31 out of the 80 filled in a form, and so that means I've been smashed this week with doing, full-time phone calls with dentists. And every single one of them acknowledged that the sign I have on my wall, I won't bother turning the camera around, but I've got a sign on my wall which says the marketing of what you do is 100 times more important than what you do. Now, if you're a heart surgeon, maybe you might not agree with that, but really at the end of the day, what we're saying is that if you are not marketing your business or your products or your services, then you know what the end result's going to be. You're going to lose market share, the guy down the road will be a cleverer marketer, and there's every chance in the world that your sales are going to go south. I use the analogy quite often that I lived in a little country town called Gloucester in New South Wales in the Hunter Valley for about a dozen years, and I remember there were two butchers in town, and one I used to have a drink with. He was a bit of a mate. I ended up playing Saturday afternoon cricket with a whole bunch of men. We couldn't play cricket, but we enjoyed the refreshments. And as it turned out, this particular guy was part of that team, and so I became a bit of a mate of his and helped him out with some marketing. And one of the things I told him to do was just have a sausage sizzle outside his butcher shop. And that's what he did. He just put the white chef's hat on, he got dressed up with the white gear on as if he was a chef, and he'd have a sausage sizzle. I'm telling you, my wife could not walk down the main street of that little country town without our kids at that time, they were young, saying to her, we've got to go across in front of Daryl's butcher shop, because his name was Daryl. He cleaned up. There was a butcher shop across the road who decided that keeping the door closed and keeping the air conditioning in was far more important, and he closed his door. Daryl had one of those special air conditioners that blew air down on the front of the door, which meant his door was always open, so from a marketing point of view he knew what he was doing, and outside he would have a sausage sizzle, and either he or one of his staff was up there throughout the day just doing what you see outside Bunnings, okay, when you go to Bunnings hardware store. And guess what? He cleaned up. The butcher shop across the road, surprise, surprise, went broke. Now, it's all about the marketing, it's not about the sausage. Now, assuming that both the butchers had equivalent level of quality of meat, the guy that's doing the sampling, in other words, the marketing, is the guy that's going to wet out every day, and of course that happened. One thing I wanted to say to you, though, is that no matter what business you're in, the rule of thumb in this day and age is that you need to be concentrating online. Okay, so you need to be talking about, we're talking about Facebook and Instagram advertising and LinkedIn and YouTube and so forth. I mean, the Juggernaut at the moment, of course, and it's the flavour of the month, it's the new black, it's more popular than organic, is Facebook. And we're certainly using in our business and finding that the results are certainly worth the effort. And this here is one example of that, Facebook Live. It's really easy for me to set up. I just simply have a little tripod which I sit on my desk. That's why I can keep my hands free at the moment. I press the button and I've got my own TV show for as long as I want to talk. And you, unfortunately, are subjected to a few dad jokes in between, hopefully some pretty valuable marketing content. It has been a really interesting exercise for us. We've got serious about this in recent months, and I've got to say to you that the actual return on investment is insane. Our inquiry rate in terms of our services has gone through the roof. And when I say through the roof, I'm not saying we get thousands and thousands of calls. I mean, we're putting together marketing plans for businesses and providing marketing coaching for businesses. We've got two programs, one which is a $500 a month program for startups and for smaller businesses, and then another one which is $3,500 a month, which is private coaching. We take over the coaching and basically put together what you saw a moment ago, pretty extensive marketing plans for businesses, and then we manage their social media, we look after everything for them, so it's a virtually done-for-you program. And for businesses doing 3 or 4, 500,000 K or more, to provide $3,500 a month for us to do all that for them is basically, nothing, okay, because they're wasting more than that on AdWords at the moment, or some SEO one-trick pony, and they're not getting the whole holistic sort of stuff in terms of a marketing plan. And so therefore, when I promote that, like I just did, we will find that we will probably get, within the next week, from that one Facebook Live, we might get 5 to 10 inquiries about private coaching. And my close rate on those is pretty good, because once they have made an inquiry, then they're suffering pain. They've been with someone looking after AdWords or Facebook, and it's a young kid that's who's probably 21 or 22, still using pimple cream, and they're not getting the results. And they're not getting the results not because that particular social media expert doesn't understand social media in terms of the dynamic impact it can have, but they're creative is not there because they haven't got enough wrinkles. They have not been around the block enough, and so therefore they're actually putting out a standard Facebook ad. And speaking of Facebook, last night I was speaking at another function, and someone was saying to me around, the function, they were a business owner, and they said, look, Facebook's just not working for me. And when I looked at their ad, I could see why it wasn't working for them. They were selling features, not benefits. And I often give an example of how we do Facebook these days, and that is long form copy. So what we do is we have a lot of copy above the photo, and what we do is we pre-qualify people. So if it happens to be, for argument's sake, a wrinkle cream, and you're after someone who lives in the upmarket suburbs, like for example in Sydney, that might be Mossman or Manly or Balgowlah. On the Gold Coast, it might be Sanctuary Cove. And you're looking for a female over 45, then of course Facebook is brilliant because you can zero in on that geodemographic area, and you can actually then pre-qualify the person by having a lot of copy on top of the picture of the lady looking radiant because she's been using your particular wrinkle cream. And the reason we put a lot of copy on the top of that is because we've been testing. We've been testing and measuring a bucket load of this stuff over time. And we've found that if you actually tell the story and you highlight the problems and the solutions, and so therefore it could be easy 3, 4, 5, 7 paragraphs before they actually get to the photo, then guess what? When she eventually clicks, then there's a pretty good chance that she's a warm prospect. You do not want a stunt headline on your Facebook advertising whereby you're just getting random clicks. I made that mistake some years ago because I had been lucky enough to work with Jerry Seinfeld in an advertising campaign for a bank who was a client of mine here in Australia. I had to fly backwards and forwards and meet Seinfeld and produce all the TV ads and so forth. And I just thought, well, I'll milk that. And I sort of have, but in the early days, I milked it badly, because what I would do is do a Facebook campaign to promote my seminars, and I would put a picture of Jerry and me where we were conversing in the street when we were producing a TV commercial, and I had a whole bunch of Seinfeld freaks click that ad and come through to my landing page, which was selling my event. Guess what? They weren't business owners, they were just Seinfeld fans. And so it was silly of me to actually use Seinfeld as an attention-seeking device to the wrong people. And even though we did target the Facebook ads to business owners, the fact is that I wanted business owners in my seminar room who had some money to spend on advertising. There's no use me telling people how they should be marketing if they've got no money to put marketing into Facebook or letterbox brochures or direct mail, whatever it may be. And so I was attracting the wrong audience. We've had some good ones too, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a complete failure, but we had a whole bunch of people who just were scrolling through Facebook and go, oh, Seinfeld, oh, I'll click that. And so we got a bad click because it was a cold lead. And what you want to think about is flipping the mentality that you normally would have been hearing from all sorts of people, and that is it's all about the click, it's all about the click. No, it's not all about the click, it's all about the warm click. And you want to pre-qualify people before they come through. Now, if your ad on Facebook is a video ad, then it's all about getting them to watch the video. So therefore, the long form copy may not be as relevant for that as it is if it's just a static photograph, all right? So if you have a video that might be a little 2 or 3 5-minute video as your Facebook ad, and if you're going to do that, make sure you've captioned it. And there's a company called rev.com, rev.com, and you've probably heard about it if you're in the online world, and they will caption your video for you virtually overnight for, I think it's $1 a minute or something of that nature, is some ridiculously low amount of money. But given that the vast majority of people are watching videos these days with the sound down, then you want to make sure that across the screen here where you see me at the moment, there is captioning going on, because if you're not doing that, you're going to miss out on a lot of the audience. So once you've actually captioned your video, if you have video as your Facebook ad, then perhaps the long form copy, I'm not saying you still wouldn't experiment with it, but perhaps the long form copy is not always going to be the best strategy for you, because you just want them to watch the video. And the video then does the heavy lifting for you. As far as the long form copy is concerned in Facebook, by the way, with the testing that we've done, we've found that if you take a whole bunch of the persuasive copy that you that you used to have on your landing page, and still keep it there, by the way, but on your sales page, pick up the most persuasive copy that you've got on there and put it above your photo in the Facebook ad. So it's really flipping the dynamics of what you would have traditionally thought is the best way to use Facebook, and that is, oh, just get the click. Just get the click. No, you want to get the pre-qualified prospect click, and so therefore get the most, I guess, what would I say, the most compelling copy from your sales page, your landing page, and put some of that above your graphic in your Facebook ad and watch what happens. You will get less clicks, but you will get better quality. So we held an event last night, which was a relatively boutique event. We said that was for businesses doing $400,000 or more in turnover. And we knew that we would not be getting the clicks at the same rate that we would get if we said anyone comes. And the reason that I did this last night is because I'm selling a private coaching program, which is going to be, $3,500 a month. And so therefore I know that a startup or a uni student who's thinking about starting a business would not resonate with that because they just don't have the money. So why would I want to fill seats when I'm selling my private coaching program with people who don't have that sort of budget? It's just madness. And I have to say we've made that mistake. If you get involved in the seminar game, you will find that, when you hold a seminar, there's not too often that the head of Coca-Cola comes to that seminar. I don't have too many CEOs of major sort of national corporations in the room. Normally it's small to medium-sized businesses because they don't have a marketing agency and they're looking for assistance. And so therefore we do have seminars that cater for startups and cater for smaller businesses, and that's fine. We'll get 50 or 60 or 80 people in the room, and what I will do is sell my other program, which is called the Academy program, and that's going to be a few $100s a month. And if you're interested in that, by the way, I haven't mentioned this yet. If you're interested in any of this sort of stuff, just send me an email at info@theinstituteofwow.com, info@theinstituteofwow.com, and we'll give you details and links for all these, two programs. We've got two programs, one which is a few $100s a month for startups, and the other one which is private coaching, which is $3,500 a month, by the way, which we just take over all your marketing and look after that for you. Now, last night, it's a boutique event. We only want 15 or so people in the room. It's in a boardroom sort of setting. So my ads that I've been putting on Facebook had long form copy above the picture of me and some, sort of tagline. And I think it was a picture of me with a boardroom behind me, by the way, because it was a boardroom mastermind sort of environment. So therefore the picture should tell 1,000 words. But the copy above that was all about pre-qualifying the prospects to be the right people. We just said, listen, this is for businesses that have the budget to advertise on Facebook regularly and have the budget to do direct mail campaigns or whatever it might be. So therefore, please don't be offended if you don't fall into this category, because we have ways that you can use our services outside of just last night's seminar. But if you're doing 400k or more, then come to that event. Now, last night we had about 16 people in the room, I think, and because there were two people sometimes with a business, that probably came back to 11 or 12 businesses. And those businesses were hanging on my every word because they had been wasting money on Facebook. They had been wasting money on Instagram. They'd been wasting money on direct mail, and they all had bad websites. I had a bit of a good time doing a couple of hot seats where I brought their website up on the screen behind me, and of course I bagged it out and explained to them what they should be doing, and they were all very grateful. Now, our close rate in terms of private, so I've got a fly in here, my close rate in terms of closing, I'll know probably within the next couple of days, because people who are interested in my coaching program just booked a call, but I think it'll be reasonably good because message to market match. I had pre-qualified the people coming into the room last night, and all 16 attendees last night there were doing a certain amount of turnover, which means is that they can A, afford my coaching program, and B, when they afford the coaching program, and I put together a pretty comprehensive marketing plan for them that really maps out over, possibly 30 or 40 pages what they should be doing online and offline, and I showed them exactly what their website should look like and all those sorts of things. When they get that marketing plan from me within 10 days, by the way, that's the magic of what we deliver, if I be so bold to be boastful, but the magic of what we deliver is that we actually provide a marketing plan within 10 working days. And in that marketing plan, they've got the whole kit and caboodle. They've got layouts of what their website should look like. They've got basically a roadmap that they probably haven't had at any time in their business before. Guess what? The people who were there last night fall into a category that they can afford that. And so really what I'm saying to you is that A, you need a marketing plan. You need one of these, okay? If you don't get it from me, get it from somebody else. I don't think you'll ever find anywhere that's going to be as cost effective as us, he says boastfully, but you won't. I've been around the traps for a while, and I know that an advertising agency wouldn't look at you for $3,500 a month. An advertising agency will have, the pretty fancy reception desk, and they have a fountain outside, and they have a fancy car park and a 4-story building, and they will charge you $20,000 just to talk to you, for God's sake, and you will not get a marketing plan like that. You will get one idea. So I know that what we offer is absolutely unique, probably not just in Australia, but internationally as well. So the thing is that you will get a marketing plan, which is a roadmap perhaps that you've not even had. If you're in business at the moment and you're a small to medium-sized business, there's a very, very strong chance that you just don't even have a marketing plan. And isn't that like driving at night time without the headlights on? It is nutso. We had a business coach in the room last night, and he came up to me, and he's going to be talking to me on a phone call. And he said, you know what, ironically, I come from an action coach background. And for those of you who don't know who Action Coach is, it's the world's largest franchise of business coaches. It was set up by a guy called Brad Sugars in Australia many years ago. He's done very well for himself, and he lives in Vegas these days. But he even said to me that the background of action coaching is very, very good in terms of those coaches telling people how to reduce overheads and basically how to run their business more efficiently, and lots of systems in terms of the left brain, okay, which is basically the operational side of your brain, but the right brain, which is the creative, in terms of marketing plans, not a hope. No chance at all. He said to me, look, seriously, I mean, we help people because most business coaches come from an accountancy background, so they're left brain, but we don't have anywhere near this wizardry of right brain thinking when it comes to marketing ideas. Now, you know and I know, you can put as much money as you like into Facebook, but if you have a crummy ad, crummy copywriting, and crummy strategy, you put shit into anything, you're going to get shit out. That's just the way it is, okay? Excuse the lingo, but I have to be frank. You put shit in other words, a crummy ad, and you're going to get a shit result. So this Facebook juggernaut is a juggernaut, and so is Instagram, and so is YouTube, and so is LinkedIn, if you have the ingredients to pour the right stuff into it. Because if your creative is crummy, then you're going to get a crummy result. It doesn't matter how powerful that platform is, if you put shit in, you're going to get shit out. So it's really, really important that when you are actually going to be doing something, you actually have a marketing plan that's going to put good stuff in, pre-qualify the prospect so that when they do come through to your sales funnel, which may be starting with a landing page and then a follow-up call, you've got a pre-qualified customer. What I say pre-qualified customer, pre-qualified prospect. Let me see, I've just got here in front of me at the moment, these are the sorts of ones I've been working on lately. That's backwards, is a black and white version of the marketing plan that we put together for this company. But this is a funeral business, okay? This particular one, of course, it's backwards there, but it says Crane Funerals. Great guy, Damien is. He owns a business down in Melbourne, which is a funeral business. And I won't bother going into any of the confidential information in that, but I'm telling you, he is going to be marketing his funeral business very, very differently from how he used to market it. For example, I said to him, well, are you familiar with Flybuys, the Flybuys reward program? And Damien said to me, yeah, supermarket, I've seen all that sort of stuff. I said, good, well, what we'll be doing with your funeral parlour business is setting up a die-buys program. And at this stage, you can see his face go a little bit white. And I was taking the piss, of course. And I said, yeah, your die-buys program, basically for every time someone, refers a deceased relative or friend and you burn them, then they get a die-buys point and they save up the die-buys points for free headstones. And at that point, he did say to me, you're taking the piss, aren't you? And I said, yes. Yeah, I said, yeah. This one here is for a dentist practice. So you'll see there the layout I've got together for their Facebook page there. That's a video, by the way. Why the short form copy there compared to long form? But as it's turned out, this particular business here, my implementation manager who works closely with me, we have a couple of those, Simon and Emil, and that's the beaut part about our coaching program these days. We actually make sure the rubber hits the road by including an implementation manager. They've just put together a Facebook campaign, and guess what? The leads that this particular dentistry company was paying, dentistry company, is that right? I guess it is, was paying was $86. They had a young gun looking after it and who was not, in our opinion, doing the right thing, and they were paying $86 per lead, which meant that if they had a 1 in 5 conversion rate, then basically for every customer they were getting in, they were paying $400 or $500 to Facebook. We got that $86 lead down to $4.52 for one particular demographic, which was women between 35 and 55. And overall, that particular cost per lead dropped down between $4 and about $20. Now, compared to $86 that they were paying for every lead beforehand, that was like an extraordinary result. And that happened in the space of 2 weeks. So can you imagine if you're advertising on Facebook at the moment and you're paying a fair whack for a lead, then, and by the way, in the dentist game, if they are going to be doing Invisalign, which is the invisible sort of braces, that's a $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 job. So they're quite happy to pay, a few dollars for the lead because there's good margin in that. But when you can get the cost per lead from $86 down to $4.52, that's extraordinary. And that was done in the space of 2 weeks. And that's because we understand how this Facebook algorithm works. And the other thing that I might mention before I finish up, the Facebook algorithm recognises engagement. So you can actually do me a favour at this very moment, and if you can type below your URL, then I will give you a free critique of your website. Okay, so therefore, pretty good offer, isn't it? So therefore, type your URL in below and give me just a brief description of what your business is, and we'll get back to you with a free critique. Why would we give you a free critique? Because if I demonstrate our wizardry, there's a good chance you might think, wow, I might want to hang around these guys. So that's what I'm inviting you to do. That's worth quite a few $1,000s in my opinion. So type that in below. And if you like this and you're getting some value from it, then just press the like, would you, if you don't mind, and then you'll see more of these as I come on. The thing is that we ran long form copy for this particular dentistry practice, and then we actually invited them to click. And what happens is if you run long form copy in your Facebook ad and people are engaged by their reading that for a minute or minute and a half, Facebook's algorithm recognises that, and they say, wow, this ad is engaging. We're going to display this ad more often, which means your cost per lead will be much less. So think about the benefits of long form copy in your Facebook advertising. Not only does it pre-qualify a prospect, but also it keeps them on your ad longer, which means Facebook's algorithm kicks in and rewards you for that by showing your ad more often, which means you get a lower cost per lead. That's about it, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed that, and if you did enjoy it, then you've got a friend that owns a business, then yeah, maybe share this. In fact, why don't you go nuts right now and just share it, and then your friend will say thank you very much. This has been good content. Okay, I'm a little bit biased, I know. And if you liked it, then press like, because that means when I pop up and give this sort of information or free tips to you in the future, then of course you will be first cab off the rank, and you'll see all this stuff more often. Thank you very much. We do this every Wednesday at 12 noon Queensland time, which is 1 p.m. New South Wales and Victorian time. So if you want to put that in your calendar, you'll get one of these shows every Wednesday. If you're watching it on replay, of course, then you can watch it whenever you like, okay, on our Facebook page, which is the Institute of Wow, of course. Okay, guys, over and out. Have a good week. If there's any questions you have with regards to marketing, type them below, and we'll get back to you. But why? Because we want to impress you with our knowledge so that you might consider doing something with us in the future. Easy. And if you need a marketing plan, if you want one of these things, okay, then just simply either type below, please give me more information about private coaching, or send me an email at info@theinstituteofwow.com. Okay, enough from me. Have a good rest of the day. I will press the finish button and I'm out of here.